Yes, we've started. Okay.
Do you want me to look at you or the camera?
Me.
You. Okay.
So let me move this way, sorry. I'm just trying to remember how she taught us in class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have video evidence now of you thinking about the project.
So I'm gonna be like, look, I promise I tried my best. Okay.
Just make sure you edit it out.
So who are you?
So, hi, I'm Jessica Dickerson. I am still looking at you. I'm sorry, it's just like the camera. So, hi, I'm Jessica Dickerson. I have a BookTube channel.
What are, like, can you elaborate a little bit more on who you are, like, what you do
Sure.
also?
So I'm a senior here at Loyola Marymount University. I am a theater major, and my dream career is acting, but what really fulfills me is reading. So I created a BookTube channel as kind of a hobby, and it's become less so a hobby, more so a community that I've created online. So it's a bunch of people who really enjoy books, and we nerd out together, and I make videos about books that I like and recommend, and I watch other people's videos, and it's just a great discussion point because people who like books, I feel like, aren't so outwardly about it, so you have to go on the internet and figure out who to find and who to talk to. So yeah.
Cool. If you could define booktubing to a stranger, what would you say it is?
So I would say it's book videos on YouTube, but I would also preface that it's a different kind of community where it's less so about pushing product and more so discussion based. I also feel like we touch on, because books talk about humans and their experiences and things like that, so it talks a lot about humanity and what we want from the world. There's a lot of discussions about race and how people talk to each other, how people treat each other, and it's also a little bit more critical, discussing about what makes a good book, what doesn't, things like that. So I feel like the community is friendly because we always want to be open and involve other voices, but we're also very critical of each other and try and keep pushing and being progressive.
That's a great, that's like a great way of describing it. You say a lot about the community.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on what the community is and who they are?
Mm-hmm. So I feel like BookTube is still kind of new in a sense. It probably popped up like 10 years ago and like 3 people were doing it. Like, it's still that small of a community where we know who started booktubing, and it started to really explode in the last couple of years. Reading vlogs have become a little bit more popular. If you Google it, like, there's a bunch of them at this point. But the community, it's individuals sitting in their rooms talking about the books they want, and the community aspect is getting to talk to other people online. Book Twitter is also a huge thing. There's a lot of beef on Book Twitter, though, so be cautious. That's where people express themselves freely. But the community is definitely seeing other people. There's also collaborations, too. People will send each other books, and like we'll also have readathons a lot, where there's like a competition. The very first one I did was this summer. There was like a Disney themed readathon where we had challenges that related to Disney themed things, and we collected points and we could see which team had the most points. It was really fun. I lost, but it's fine.
You haven't touched on how long have you been a booktuber and like what really got you into it to start?
So I've been a booktuber since I started February of, I think, 2018, when I first came to LMU, I believe. I mostly started it because I really enjoyed reading, but I found that the BookTube community, though it was so inspirational and made me want to read more, I wasn't committed to reading as much. So I was like, you know what, if I start like vlogging and doing wrap-up videos is where you say what you've read and what you recommend and what you didn't like. So it's like, if I start doing it, then I'll actually be consistent with my reading. And it's a huge goal of mine to read more content, because it makes you I think a more proficient person in general, getting other human experiences and becoming more critical and being more open to others. So it was a very big thing coming to college. I was like, I'm going to read more, and I think booktubing really helped me with that, and that's why I definitely committed to it.
It's amazing. What's been the response from your viewers that watch your channel?
My response at the very beginning, I would get like 20 views, and I'm sure it was all from my mom. 100%. She comments on every video. I love that. But for a very long time, for about a year, it was mostly just me, and I would talk to maybe a few people. But then this summer, after doing that readathon I told you about, the Disney themed one, I was actually a host for the team. So I got a lot of followers from that and made a lot of friends from that. And then it kind of went from having like 100, 200 subscribers to right now I'm at like 1,400. So it's a pretty significant growth for me, who doesn't expect growth their subscribers ever. So I feel like the response, as people have been finding my channel, a lot of the comments I get is that they are happy to see like a woman of color on BookTube, because I feel like there aren't as many, and there aren't as many that are big. A lot of the bigger kind of BookTube people are Caucasian, as we see in media. That is the majority, I guess. Points to some. Yeah. So I've gotten a lot of comments about that too, which makes me really happy, because I always look for that. You always try and find yourself in other people, so I'm happy to help others.
What has also the response been from publishers? Because as you've said, like a lot will reach out and give books. What has their response been from your channel?
It's really interesting, because I feel like I never expected any publishers to ever reach out to me. 1,400, though big for me, is very small in the scheme of millions of views in YouTube. And I feel like the other thing that people don't talk about is how to get subscribers is through a lot of collaborations with publishers and with companies and with people who give out products and do giveaways. And those opportunities are normally given to people who have already had those experiences, and they keep getting more and more, and that's why they build to be so big. And they are totally deserve that and have worked very hard. But if you only continue to do it to the same people, it's not going to help anybody else out. And I know in the BookTube community recently, there was a lot of discussion about that. And after that, there was a specific publishing house, I think it was Penguin Teen Random House, sent out a bunch of like boxes of advanced reader copies. So before the book was published, we got a copy of it so we could review it. And I got a box, which was really exciting, because I'm like, they know where I live. That's creepy but exciting at the same time. And free books I would love at any point. Books are very expensive, so I'm all here for it. And it was really cool because they sent it to, I want to say, over like 20 other booktubers, and it gives them the chance to be heard and have their opinions like validated, like that they're reaching out to you and being like, here, can you review this? Like we want to hear your opinion. And if you kind of, it's just really cool that no matter what race, like they matter, like your voice matters. And even if you're a smaller channel, that they still have faith that you'll get there, especially if you're getting the traction that they want.
That's amazing. So how, because you've touched on it already, but to go in deeper, how has race and representation played a huge factor with booktubing?
I want to say, I feel like even though it does play a huge part into it, because I feel that a lot of the channels that are publicized more often aren't of people of color, but I also do want to respect that it doesn't play too big of a role to the audience. Like, I don't feel that people online who are subscribing are like looking for white people or looking for brown people, but I feel like YouTube algorithms and publishers, those are the people who tend to look at color, and without realizing it, and supporting people who already had years and years of foundation and support rather than supporting people who haven't had any support. And I feel that recently it's become more of a discussion, which is great, but after you have that discussion of, hey, like, include everybody, I think the discussion shouldn't be, let's continue to talk about race. It should just be inclusive dialogue and always trying to involve everybody that you humanly can, if that makes sense. And it also makes sense just for publicity to reach out to different people who are, interacting with different audiences. I think that's just a smart, PR move, in addition to it being inclusive. So yeah, I think it does play a big part, but I feel like we're moving away from talking about race to just talking about let's involve everybody.
Where do you see yourself going within the booktubing universe?
In the universe. I feel like I'm just gonna keep going. I really have no expectation, zero standards. I like reading, I like talking to people, and I really love it when I make a video that I put hours of work into, reading tons of books, putting my opinion out there, and like people respond with like, oh, I really enjoyed your video, or I'm gonna go read that book now because you recommended it and you said it was like so amazing. So that really hits me. So I just want to make sure that in the future that I keep just making those connections with people. I think that would be kind of my goal.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.